Hey there, it's Shannon with Our Piece of Earth, and today I'm going to talk to you about our homeschool chemistry unit. I want to say I don't really use a curriculum because I don't necessarily, but I do. I like the good and the beautiful units. They're affordable enough. Mostly what I do is use this kind of guideline. I do use some of the activities and stuff from in there, but a lot of times it just gives me something to focus on. Otherwise, I get really distracted and I'm scatterbrained. So I need a little something to help me stay on task, I guess. So I let my kids pick what they want to learn about. And this time Charlie picked chemistry. And I thought that'll be fun. My kids are baking soda and vinegar experts, and my 8-year-old has that stuff out. We go through so much baking soda and vinegar. So he's always making big explosion-like things. So they're always trying to come up with some ideas. So I thought this would be a really fun way to give them some more ideas of what they're doing and why the things react the way they do. So I'm just going to share some of the books and games and activities that we used for this unit. So one I just thought was a fun story, the boy who invented the popsicle and how he actually invented it. So this was just a cute story that we were able to read through and learn a little bit about, and how a lot of what happens in science is discovered on accident. And then they can learn more from that. This book on matter was actually a really fun book that I discovered. So I wanted to share it. Here's kind of the content of it. What I liked about it was just the way that it was put together. So it talks a little bit about what is matter and then different ideas to kind of bring it to life for your kids. So it had just different fun movement activities too. Or here's one on taking up space. And the whole book was kind of like this. So we had fun looking through the different activities. We did a few of the things from this book. So this is this one. And kind of along with that with solids, liquids, gases, and plasma. Plasma was a new thing that really isn't introduced in any of the other books we talk about. It was a fun book with really cute illustrations that the kids loved. So that's this book. And then along with that same topic was Wile E. Coyote, Experiments with States of Matter. And this book was super fun to read, and it kind of just takes you through why all of his plans to catch the Roadrunner fail, and how they're all related to the states of matter. Sometimes there's melting, sometimes there's freezing, there was evaporation. So this was fun. My kids actually super loved reading this story, and I kind of found it by accident in the library. So that worked out well. But this was really fun to read if you're going through that. And I always like to introduce a few people in history that had some impact on whatever we're learning about. So here is one we read, and I was a little limited. We have a really big library, but on some of the people I was trying to get a book on, we just didn't have a lot of options that weren't more than I was looking for. I just wanted a quick introduction or story, not something like just whatever. But so this is one that we read. If you've never read these are cute. Just the silly little illustrations of this giant-headed little person. But so this was a cute story. And then Stolen Science I got just for a couple people that were in here. If you haven't seen this, we were just looking for, I think, Alice Ball in this one. No, I'm not. Yeah, I think so. So it's just a short little bit about her, a handful of pages. So that was why I got that. I just like to introduce a few people about it. And then I got this coloring and activity book, a little everyday chemistry. And sometimes we would just read about it, like tells you about, here's one. How does soap help against viruses? And it tells you a little, and then on the back is just a little experiment you can do with that. And the illustrations in here, they're fun to color, draw, do the activities, and introduces a lot of different things about chemistry. And then the periodic table. So this was a nice little activity coloring book to have with it. Sorry, I'm not more organized here. So a couple books I love is the Usborne Lift the Flap periodic table. So this is fun, and I really like how the pages are color-coded, kind of. So this I just left out. Sometimes I would read a little bit of it, but mostly I just left this out for the kids to play with and just explore on their own. Same with this one. See Inside Atoms and Molecules. But as we talked about atoms and molecules, we would flip through and just read a little bit, not necessarily all of them. But again, just something they can explore with their hands. Sometimes while I'm reading, sometimes they just pick it up any other time of day. This book is Atoms. It was a little bit similar to that one. There's some experiments. I didn't read this. This one I actually just had out for the kids to do with as they wish. But there were some different activities in here for them. And then Atoms and Molecules with 25 projects. So this, I really liked how this one was laid out. So we did a few of the activities. So we just read the sections that we wanted and maybe did the activities for it. So this one is a really fun to have. At least check it out at your library or something and decide if you like it. But it had fun ways to bring some of the concepts to life. And I let them pick through it if they were interested in something. Because my 8-year-old is my little experimenter. He'll find random things and be like, let's do this experiment. So that's what we did a lot with this book. And I thought it was really cute. So, and I would recommend maybe one of these. They're, the Elements and the Kids Book of Elements. They're both pretty similar. So I wouldn't necessarily get them both. But it just tells you about each individual element. So they're both a little different. Excuse me. So I just had those. I thought those were nice to have. And then to round out the books that I had with this unit, I like to get some books that have just random information or experiments that they can decide they want to try. So experiments with chemistry, science in action. I love these books. Sometimes my kids really love them. Sometimes they don't. So they would do these or just look through here if they wanted to know more about certain elements. The Way Science Works is a fun book that we've used on and off for a lot of different things. And then Super Science Concoctions was just lots of different things that they could do. So that was the books that we used. And then a couple other things that I had, I'd like to have hands-on stuff for them. Sometimes if I'm reading a story, my 10-year-old especially gets really antsy. He needs something to do with his hands if he's trying to listen. So this is just a snap together periodic table of elements. And it's all color-coded. So it was nice to kind of talk about why the elements are where they're at. But in a hands-on way where they could put together the periodic table of elements by looking at it. So sometimes we'd play like not hide and seek, like a find and seek, like we're looking for this element that has the atomic number of 21, or we're looking for sodium, and they would like race to find it on there. The other thing was this molecular model kit. It's in a snap together container. So it's just got different things so they can snap together and put their own molecules together. So lots of different colors in here. And then the little chart in the beginning tells you, not that chart, sorry, what color each atom is and how to use the pieces. So that was just another hands-on thing. Sometimes we played with it more than others. Sometimes we used it directly with what we were talking about, but not all the time. So that was a nice hands-on thing. And then I had a couple games that we played, and I will share more about these in another blog post or video in the next few days, hopefully. So Periodic, a game of the elements. Just give you an idea what the board game looks like. This is my daughter's favorite, I think, of the chemistry games that we played. There's some strategy. My 8-year-old has a hard time with this one. It's just a little much for him. He'll play for a little bit, but he never makes it through a whole game. That's fine. He still has fun playing. He just loves to play games. But this is my 12-year-old daughter's favorite of the 3 games that we have here. And then Valence Plus is the second game. And in this one, you're putting together molecules. And then you get these cards. So this one's really fun. My 8-year-old can play this one with us really well. I have it upside down. My 10-year-old doesn't love to play games. He doesn't play a lot with us, so I don't really know his opinion on these because I'm not sure he's played any of them yet. But this one's really fun and relatively quick. And then Ion, a compound building game, is a card switching game where you try and build ions. So I think it's a little more fun with more than 2 people, but we play it all the time with 2 people. Sometimes my youngest plays and then there's 3 of us. So it's a super fast, easy game to play as well. So I will add a link to my blog post so you can have all the links to the different books, activities, and games that I shared with you today. Otherwise, if you have some questions or even suggestions for things you've used for a chemistry unit that you thought were really fun, please let us know. Have a great day. One last thing that we used for our chemistry unit, aside from like our kitchen and everything my kids could find to mix together all the time to see what could happen safely, was a science experiment kit. There's a bazillion of them on Amazon. So this is the one that we chose, 70 science experiment kits. I don't know if it's in here now or not. So it came with an instruction book and told you what experiments were in there. So we kind of paged through. I know I mentioned my 8-year-old loves experiments. So this is one of his favorite things to do. He could do experiment after experiment all day long. We had a ton of fun learning and talking about what makes that chemical reaction so that the outcome is exactly what you see. But this had all the little test tubes, beakers, all sorts of stuff for it. Mine is not all in here, or I would totally show you. As well as some safety glasses and a little stand for your test tubes. But this box pretty much came with everything that you needed to do the experiments in there. So this one was really fun for us. And I'll have the link for this as well. But yeah, let me know if you found another science kit that you really loved and had a lot of fun with. All right. Thanks, guys.